Discover Help presents Stress-Free Living with Ray Samich and Mr. Stress-Free Ratanjit S. Sandhi. This audio program is an unscripted and unrehearsed conversation between Ray and Ratanjit. It is shared with you in hope of adding value to your life. We encourage you to listen to this program in its entirety to receive the full impact of its message. Sit back, relax, open your heart, mind, and soul to this edition of Stress-Free Living.
Good morning,
Good morning.
sir. Thank you for joining us.
And
Wow.
congratulations to all of you
Oh, thank you.
for such an important milestone.
Well, thank you. Why, life passes by. Pretty soon we'll have a milestone, ultimate milestone.
Well, thanks for including me.
Well, you're most welcome, and thank you, Sudarshan. Hi, how are you? Thank you. You're traveling, but you found time to join us.
He's always traveling. I see him at the airports all the time with Swati.
Oh, there he
The
is.
Good to
mic
have
is
all of you.
off.
Thank you for joining us.
Sudarshan, oh, good. Your mic is
I'm
on.
going to find time. I mean, anything that is sustained for 30 years has intelligence, genius, and good luck behind it. So we have to celebrate.
Well, thank you for joining us. Rakeshji, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Congratulations. What a milestone.
Well, thank you. How come your video is not on?
It will be in few minutes.
Okay. Take your time.
Yeah. Thank you for inviting me. I totally appreciate it.
Well, without you, everyone, the show is not possible.
So, Bhai Sahab, how do you feel with this milestone? वो बताइए.
I'm surprised. I'm very, very grateful that this is happening. And as I was mentioning, Ray and I do it for ourselves. So we miss the show when we don't do it, because as my mother said, God has given us 2 ears and 1 mouth. So when we speak, we must also listen. And sometimes the wisdom comes out of your mouth and you don't even realize, and until you listen and comprehend, that wisdom does not affect you or benefit you.
You know, there's I edit every show and it goes up on YouTube. There's 128 shows on YouTube now on our channel, and every one of them I listen to and edit. And it's amazing how much I hear that I have said or Ratanjit has said that I don't even remember saying. It's entirely different when you hear it and you're not a participant in it. And so he's really right. It's very therapeutic for us too, and very enjoyable for us to think about these. And then my mind goes out afterwards and I say, gee, I really should have said that, or I should have gone here because this was so intriguing and I missed it the first time. So it's like we're not even here sometimes. I don't know how else to explain it, but it really has become a part of our core of our life, no question. I miss it when we don't do it.
Ray, I have a ready example of it. I once was talking to Bhai Sahab and I said something about I am proud of something. And Bhai Sahab said, see if you can replace the word proud by the word grateful. And I have consciously practiced that. And every sentence sounds better, gets better. And I think in the karmic space is better. So I've eliminated the word proud and just say the word grateful.
Very good. Very good. Wonderful to have all of you join us already here. We didn't know how many more people would come than normal, but I'm grateful for each one of you that is joining us. Thank you.
Umaji, welcome. unmute yourself and say something.
Uma, Sundar, both are here, I think.
Wow.
We are at the same wedding in Boston.
Good morning to all of you. So nice to join this panel
wow.
and so grateful and hi, good morning.
How is
Thank you,
Sundar feeling?
Bhaisa, for this absolutely wonderful. Sundar is feeling better, but he has moments of dizziness, but he's much better. It's going to be about 6 weeks now, so 5.5 weeks have been completed, so he's much better. So
Oh, wow.
thank you. Yeah.
Thank
So
you.
God's grace, all the blessings, and I'm just grateful that that God took care of whatever the higher sources took care of him during that period. And we have amazing, wonderful friends. Swati and Sudarshan just rose up to the occasion and ran to the hospital when I was not there. So I'm just grateful again. So
Thank you. Thank you.
and thank you, Bhai Sahab. I cannot thank you enough for what you do for all of us. Reiteration of these amazing words and lectures keep us going. Many times when we are caught in those spaces where we are not sure what to do, your words come to us and help us to navigate ourselves out of those moments.
You're
So
very kind.
eternally grateful to you. Thank
You're
you.
very, very kind. Very kind. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sahil, are you there? From England?
I am indeed. I've joined in from Dad's laptop. Hello.
Where's Dad?
Dad has just gone into the shower and he's aiming to be over here about 10 minutes. So he'll be here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Congratulations to you. This show is now 10 years older than myself. So congratulations to you guys.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you.
Wow, that makes me feel even older.
That was not my intention, but I apologize.
No. It's great to have your youth with us. Thank you.
Cheers. A good mom here as well.
Usually you only gain wisdom with age. Hello.
It's a big shout out to both of you for bringing weeks after weeks, after years, but the quality, the content, hats off to both of you for the consistency, and the proof lies in the pudding. And here is the pudding. 20-year-old attending every Saturday, getting inspired to begin his career. Really heartfelt thanks as a mother to both of you. Thank you, Gigi.
How's the pudding taste?
As sweet.
Chocolate.
Yeah.
Chocolate, very good. Our favorite.
He's getting
So we're
inspired.
only about a minute away from being on the air live. And as you all know, we're inviting you to be a part of our live show today and to say some of the things that you've already been saying here for the last few minutes. We hope that you'll be kind enough to say some of those same things on the air. Ratanjit and I thought we would start the first segment with just a little history. Maybe all of you have heard it before, but a couple of things about the background of it and a couple of amazing stories that have happened along the way. But then after we get through that, we want to open it up to all of you, and we invite all of you to join us at whatever level you'd like to. If you want to make some comments like you've made so graciously, or if you'd like to say about how it's impacted you or what you've learned from it, or if you have a question that you want to ask Ratanjit, he can be happy to answer that. Also, if you want to talk about topics that are especially important to you that you'd like us to talk more about in the future, whatever is on your mind and in your heart, please share that with us. All we ask is that we don't want to have people talking over each other. So we ask that you stay muted. And then when you'd like to say something, if there's nobody else talking, just start. If somebody else is talking, you could either chat with me, let me know you want to talk too, or you can raise your hand and then we'll call on you. And we're about to start. This is Stress-Free Living. Thank you so much for being with us today. I'm Ray Samich. I'd like to introduce you to my longtime radio colleague, co-host, and my dear friend and spiritual brother, Ratanjit Sandhi. Ratanjit, how are you today?
Wonderful, Ray. How are you?
I am just,
Congratulations.
well, congratulations to you. I am even more excited. I'm always excited to do this show, not only to be with you, Ratanjit, but also to be with all of our incredible guests that join us, those that we can see because they're part of our Zoom audience, or those that we know are listening and talk to us afterwards on the radio. But today is especially exciting because 30th year, we're starting our 30th year of doing this Saturday mornings, 9 o'clock Eastern time for all 30 years. Every Saturday, the show has been on, whether we've been able to do it live or whether in some cases it's been pre-recorded. So that's pretty amazing, Ratanjit. We were a couple of young guys when we started doing this. Our bodies were young, right?
Yeah,
So,
the spacesuit was young, but we are the same. The power,
right.
which is enlivening this spacesuit is still the same.
It's,
So you want to share our how this thing came about?
I do. But I also want to let everybody know and that this show is going to be so different than anything we've done in the 30 years, because for the first time, we're going to open up the microphone, so to speak, to all the amazing people that are joining us. And every moment I see more people joining online here as part of our Zoom audience. So it is just, we're so overwhelmed with appreciation and gratefulness for those of you that have taken the time to be with us. And if you will be so kind as to stand by as Ratanjit and I talk about some of the early stories that happened. And then after we do that, we want to open it up to all of you. Anybody who is on our Zoom call that would like to give us their comments or questions or whatever you have, we'd love to hear from you over the course of the show today. But let's go back, Ratanjit, because I do believe that God works in mysterious ways, and maybe some people have heard this story over the years, but you and I weren't even supposed to meet. I mean, we were really, except for destiny, if you look at it in practical terms, you and I should never have met in the first place, let alone be doing a radio show for 30 years. But I was asked at the last minute to take the place of somebody else, a wonderful woman that was my right arm for so many years in radio, Camilla DeAndre, and she grew a little sick. And she says, I'm supposed to meet with someone for lunch about an Indian show, an Indian radio show. And she says, but I'm not feeling well. Could you please take my place? And fortunately, my schedule allowed me to do that. So I went down to meet a gentleman named Paul, because that's who Camilla was supposed to meet, was Paul. And I walk into the restaurant and I'm looking and asking people if they're Paul, because I was a little late because of the transition there with filling in. So I figured they were already in the restaurant. So I went from table to table that had a single man sitting at it. And I never thought of you. I passed you initially because you had a turban on and you didn't look to me like a Paul. So I didn't think that you were Paul. And then you grabbed me, as I remember, and you said, are you looking for someone? Because you were expecting a woman, right? You thought you were going to meet with a woman named Camilla. And so you explained that you were filling in for Paul because I believe he had been out of town and didn't make it back in time or something like that. And so I explained that I was filling in for a person, you were filling in for a person. We sat down for a moment, and then the topic that we were supposed to meet about, the Indian radio show, one of the first questions I asked you is, where is the population that you're trying to reach on the radio? Because this was the days before internet. And you shared with me that it was south of Akron, and our radio signal was out of Cleveland and didn't cover Akron. And so instantly I realized that there was no reason for us to continue the conversation about the Indian radio show because we could never serve the audience that you needed to reach. So I apologize for that miscommunication. And I says, okay, I guess we might as well not meet. And I'll never forget what you said, Ratanjit. You says, well, you're here, I'm here. It's a nice restaurant. It's time for lunch. So why don't we have lunch together? And from then on, you had me. I was captivated by the conversation that we had. And it was so intriguing. You were so intriguing. And by the end of the lunch, I said, Ratanjit, why don't we do this on the radio? And you says, no, I could never do that. And I says, no, just like the conversation we've just had about life and about how you live your life and how you're in business and how we handle family and relationships and being stressed and being angry and being disappointed and everything. I says, why don't we talk to people on the radio about this? And you said, I don't think you could do it. I don't think you want to do it. And it wouldn't be right. It was so different from anything you had thought of. But I convinced you. I talked you into it. And we did the first show right away. I think within a week we did the show. But you were nervous about it. And I was a little nervous too, even though I had been on the radio a while, but I had never done anything like this. So we pretty much met an hour beforehand and outlined everything, how we were going to talk and what we were going to say and how we were going to flow. And ladies and gentlemen, the show was terrible. It was just, Ratanjit calls it mediocre. I say it was awful. It was just, it didn't flow. It just was so, no heart in it, no emotion in it. And so we sat down afterwards and I think you wanted to stop. And I says, no, we're going to try it again. And maybe the third show in, we threw away the outline, we threw away any kind of script, and eventually we even stopped meeting. And there were many times that we would get at 9 o'clock and Ratanjit would say, what do we want to talk about today? And we would decide at that moment and then just carry on the conversation. So I know I've been talking for a few minutes about that story, but I just find it so fascinating. Ratanjit, did I tell it right? Was there any part of that maybe I don't remember right?
Yeah, no, you covered it. The main reason that Indian community came to me and they wanted to have some religious prayers on the radio on Saturday. So I said, find a radio station, and they found the radio station, and then suddenly that ended up us meeting.
Okay. So, and that's how it came to be. But the point of that story is that,
And
two people that work.
My condition was that I don't know anything about the radio station. I've never done it. So I asked you wouldn't mind if we try it, and if it doesn't work, I stop it. He says, yeah. You can stop anytime. So we started doing this show, and 3 or 4 months passed away. And so I would come to your radio station and we'll do it live. And suddenly one morning I got up and I realized that what am I doing? I'm not a PhD in psychology or anything. I'm getting and answering your questions and those things. And so I said, it's all my ego. So I decided that, this enough is enough. So both of us had our time. So that day I decided that I'm going to tell Ray that is the last show. And so I went to the radio station, and again, Ray wasn't there. And I waited for 2 minutes before 9 o'clock, you showed up. So
okay, now you're telling the secret. Now the whole world knows that I'm a last minute kind of a guy. Okay, we got that out. So 2 minutes before the show, that's plenty of time. In radio time, 2 minutes is a lot of time.
So we went right on the radio show. And so you decide the topic on the radio show, and we did the show. And then after the show, I said, Ray, I want to talk to you. So he said, okay. So he prepared a nice cup of tea for both of us. And we sat down, and suddenly the phone rang. And there was a woman on the phone, and you picked up the phone, and she said, can I talk to the doctor who does the radio show? And she couldn't pronounce my name. So you said, Ratanjit, this is for you. So this lady said, sir, I'm dying and I have a last wish. And would you fulfill my last wish? I was completely beside myself. I said, Madam, is that something I can do? She said, only you can do this. And then she said, let me tell you what happened. So she said, I'm only 52 and I was diagnosed with this cancer or advanced stage of cancer. And I had only, my doctor gave me only 6 months to live. And I was very bitter. And I was going to church every day and all that. And suddenly I realized there's no God. Why this happened to me? I was very bitter and very depressed. So one Saturday morning, my son came to see me and he listened to your radio show, and he went back to the radio station and got a tape from the radio station of the show and came home and played the tape for me. And now I listen to a radio show every Saturday. And today I'm very grateful, and I'm living every moment of my life with fullest joy and pleasure. And this is all because of your radio show. And that is why I'm requesting you not to take this thing off the air. So after that talk, I was dumbfounded, and I told Ray that, Ray, I will talk to you later. I have to go home. So I went home, and first time I listened to the tapes of our earlier shows. And I was amazed that it was not me who was talking. There's something, some of the stories which I was telling, I did not know. Some of the things which I was saying, I had no idea. So that is how we continued this show and started to understand that a divine power is speaking through us, and we have to listen to this power and implement that power in our life. Right?
You know, obviously I know that story. I was there, part of it, but it still touches me in a very special way to know how we have impacted people over the years through the program. We've had this incredible opportunity to do that. I have my own, one special story, although there's so many countless times when people have come up to me or written me a note or called me or whatever it might be to say that they really enjoyed this particular show. It meant something special to them, and it helped them through a condition. But I want to share my story that happened one time when a person called me, and it was a woman that called because her husband, and I may not be medically correct with this. I apologize, because it's so true, but I don't want to misspeak any part of it. He had a severe illness where he had to go into some type of a facility in his own home, like an iron lung or something, that he had to go into every day in order to live. And he had to go through this treatment in his home. And his wife said that he had told her he was not going to do this anymore. It was just too It was too difficult. It was too hard on him, and it just wasn't worth it. And he basically says, "I'm not going to do this anymore, and I'm going to die." And his wife said, "You know what? I there's this radio show that she was recording herself on a cassette every week." And she said, "I want you to listen to this show for me when you're in this treatment." And so she started doing this process of recording the show and then playing it when he had these treatments going on. And she says, "It's because of you and the show that my husband is still alive and is willing to go through these treatments because he looks forward to the treatment so we can listen to the show." And you can hear in my voice how that still touches me decades later. So to know that we've had this gift to be able to do this for other people and for each other has been incredibly heartwarming and fulfilling. Ratanjit, I think with that, I need to stop talking. We promised to open up the show to our guests, and many of them are raising their hand here and they want to be part of this. So I think we're going to take our first break. Let's do that because this is still a radio show as well as a podcast. And the radio show requires us to take little breaks here so we can put some ads in. We'll do that for a quick 90 seconds, and then we're going to come back, and the rest of the show is going to belong to our audience. And we hope that many of them will want to participate and share their thoughts, ask their questions, whatever they may be so inclined to do. I also want to mention to everybody that we do have all of these podcasts on our YouTube channel. And we'd love to have you subscribe to that channel, and that way you're alerted anytime we post a new program, and you can even interact with each other through that. We'd love to expand this further, even after we've been on so many years with additional ways of communicating with this amazing group of people that follow this program. So check that out. If you go on YouTube, just search by Stress-Free Living Radio. It's the only stress-free living radio that will come up, and you can subscribe and you can catch well over 100 programs that we have put up there over the years. Okay, we're going to take a quick break and then come back and turn it over to some of our amazing audience that has grown with us over the years. We'll be right back. This is Stress-Free Living. Please stay with us. All right, everybody. We've had a few people on our normal link that have tried to join us, and please forgive me because I've been trying to communicate with them during the show there too. But now it's going to be your turn, and would love to have you. The only thing we're going to ask, just so that we're not talking over each other, is that we do it one at a time. Rakesh raised his hand first, so I'm going to call upon him. I'll introduce you. And by the way, if you can tell us your name when you start and where you're from, where you're listening at. We'd love to have you let people know how you're real people in a variety of different capacities, what you do, whatever you want to talk about yourself. It's your opportunity to share who you are, what you think, what you want to talk about. And if you have questions for Ratanjit, by all means, he can answer those for you too. All right, I think we've got about 30 seconds left in the break. Who wants to be second after Rakesh? Anybody? Okay. Thank you, Sudarshan. And I will apologize in advance if I mispronounce anybody's name. I still don't have it right. Even though I have been honored to be in your presence for a long time, I still don't have some of the pronunciations right.
It's all good.
That's not their real name anyways. That was given to them. They had no choice.
There you go. So they came when their mother called them for dinner.
Yeah.
Okay, we're coming back. We are back on this 30th anniversary kickoff of Stress-Free Living. It's an anniversary show that we are so excited to be presenting with you. 30 years of being on the radio. WELW initially was the call sign. It's the same station, but it changed the call sign to WINT, Integrity Radio. And it also started as AM only, AM 1330. Now it's advanced to the 101.5 FM as well, and a worldwide streaming audience all over the world. Rakesh, you had your hand up first, one of our longtime listeners and joiners here on our Zoom call. Please share your comments with us.
Thanks again, and thanks to R&R, Ratanjit and Ray.
Wow.
So, what an accomplishment for 30 years of, doing this, helping humanity and communities. I mean, so I'm a psychiatrist, so this is right up my alley. And I'm deeply interested in spirituality. Just about 2-3 years ago, I began, writing. I'm working on some projects. They are very much dovetail with what Ratanjit ji has been, speaking on for the last 30 years. And actually, I had a radio stint myself on 1100 for I would say for about a year. Prime time, it was 6 to 8 p.m. I think. For a short while, I did a radio TV show. It used to be called Getting Psyched Up with Dr. Ranjan. So my full name is Rakesh Ranjan. So, but anyway, so I was struck by the comment that Ratanjit ji made a few moments ago, that when he listened to the tape for the first time, he felt as though it wasn't him speaking. And, that is the classical, if I can use that term, to describe what we call quantum consciousness. I mean, it takes an observer in quantum physics to quote unquote see something as matter, so to speak. And so it's a very interesting phenomenon, isn't it? I mean, you didn't see quote unquote certain stuff when you were there, not observing yourself. But when you observe yourself, it just looks different, it sounds different. And I think that's a very profound phenomenon. I think we all have experienced to some extent. So I just wanted to say that, thanks again for doing this show, a special show, and letting us participate. And I enjoy it every time I'm here. The wisdom is very profound. It's all applicable. It's very universal. So, so those are my comments. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And yes, we appreciate you being with us and the comments. Thank you. Sudarshan, I know you had your hand up there. Would you like to say something?
Yes. Yeah, it's very, very gratifying to think back. On August 2nd, 1983, almost nearly 41 years, I joined Polycarp University. And I am grateful that I'm still connected with the dean, Bhai Saab. So I want to share one specific thing that I felt was a profound insight in life, and I've hopefully through this show like to amplify it. I was talking to Bhai Saab at his home, and he said, Sudarshan, do you realize there is 25 different kinds of music going on in this room? And I was a little befuddled by that comment. And he saw the expression on my face and said, do you not believe it? Do you not realize it? I said, I have to think about this. He said, okay, we'll do a simple experiment and prove it to you. And it doesn't require any instrument. So he said, imagine I bring an FM radio here and turn it on this FM channel or that FM channel. You will hear 25 different kinds of music, right? And I said, right. And he said, you are an engineer. You know no one's sitting in the radio and singing. The music is already here. The music is already in the room. You just have to have the right channel and it manifests itself. And our mind is the same way. And I thought that that was such a profound insight that I have repeated it to many people, um, and this connects with the idea that Rakesh mentioned. It's incredible that Rakesh thought about this idea also. I am in Boston; he must be in Cleveland somewhere. And that idea is that when Bhai Saab said it wasn't me speaking, it connects with the idea that this knowledge is already around us, it surrounds us. We just have to be in that channel. We have to bring our mind to that channel of what he would call unconditionally grateful reception or receptivity, and we would get that knowledge. And many of our insights, if we think about them, there is a disconnection. Like you were not thinking about this, but you get this insight because your mind was in that mode of receptivity. So one of the great successes of this show is that you continually provide these insights into real life that no one has thought of, and it enriches all of our lives. So thank you. I am grateful.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for sharing all of that with us. We really appreciate you being with us all the time. And all of you, for our audience that's not part of the Zoom audience, to know that we interact with these wonderful people during the breaks, before the show, during the breaks, after the show. And it's so inspiring to us. And it gives us a lot of the future topics that we will talk about on the show. And because of the questions and the comments that they make. So you're such a vital part of this program. And those that have come before you, we have a great group now, but we've always had people that have been loyal. But this really just started with the pandemic. During the pandemic, when Ratanjit and I couldn't physically get to the studio, because we were all in a quarantine and lockdown and everything, and we said, we've got to do the show. And we started doing it just by telephone. And then we said, hey, new thing, this new technology is out with Zoom. Why don't we try to do it? And we haven't gone back, right, Ratanjit? I mean, once we started that and it opened it up to the world and to see your faces and to have the interaction, and we were, of course, able to record the shows then for podcast purposes. And crazy because the pandemic was not a good thing for anybody, but there were a little bit of silver cloud things that came out of it, and this is one of them. Hi, did you have your hand up? Is there a comment that you would like to make? And by the way, tell people where you're at too. When you guys introduce yourself, tell us where you're at, if you're here in Cleveland or where else.
Hi. Yes. Hello, everyone. I'm Kai, and I'm in Brecksville, Ohio. I didn't expect you to call on me just then, but my voice is very hoarse, so forgive me. First of all, I want to thank you both for heeding the call to divine consciousness and filling the space in the universe with the wisdom that you chose to give the world through this radio show. So I thank you both, Ray and Ratanjit. Then secondly, I want to say to Ratanjit, Baba, love, most wise and father, spiritual father of mine. You have been such a blessing in my life, such a guide and a force and a source of wisdom and inspiration. So I thank you so much, Ratanjit, for who you are and what you give us all.
Thank you. Thank you.
And then I want to thank the audience that has been listening over the last 10 years or so that I've been blessed to listen. When I first started listening to this, I thought of this as the East meets the West, meaning that the Western world was in need of Eastern consciousness and culture and concepts. So I thought it a very wise thing for so many reasons, because I understand it from an African, Edenic, Asiatic perspective. Having traveled all over the world, I've never been to India. I still want to go. I saw the beauty in offering this type of wisdom to Western society. So kind of, I thought of it that way. And then as I listened to it for many, many years, I saw the profundity in everything that was being taught around the world to everyone, because the need for the balance and harmony that Ratanjit teaches is so important. The unconditional gratitude, the unconditional love, quantum consciousness. But I looked at him, he was teaching us quantum consciousness through quantum love. So I appreciate you both for everything that you share and for being the lights that you've chosen to be. And so thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And give yourself a big hug. Thank you.
I just finished yoga. I'm so hoarse right now, but I've been a little under the weather, but.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing those thoughts. Okay. We really appreciate you too. Would anybody else have a comment? If you do, raise your hand, let us know, and we'll be happy to have you add in. One of our guests asked me to share again how the technology has changed or how the show has changed, and I'll do that while we're waiting for someone else. If you'd have to comment, we want you to. And that is just to let you know that we started out the beginning as Visions. The show originally was called Visions. And we came up with that name just because I thought, you know, this would be a vision of how the world could be if we were without stress, if we were with a better understanding of oneness and our purpose in life. And so that was a vision. So we called it Visions, and it was a half-hour show. And we very quickly, that half hour went by so quickly once we started getting into our groove that we moved it to an hour. And then after about a year or two, we changed it to stress-free living to let people know that the vision that we had would allow us to have stress-free living. And we thought maybe that was a little bit more communicative of what the value of the program could be if people decided to listen. Would you like to share your thoughts with us? I'd love to have you do that.
Sure, Ray. Ray, I would like to address you today as Ray so much and not Ray so much, because you offer so much to this wonderful world and planet through your dedication. And 30 years is definitely a really long time. And my congratulations to both of you for these 30 glorious years of unconditional service to mankind. The first time when I met Ratanjit ji, I also call him my dad, my soul father, and we know the reasons behind it. And he mentioned a very beautiful quote that stayed with me, and it goes like this: never glorify the truth, live the truth, and truth will glorify you. And I lived this thought for many years, only to realize that this magician tricked me. And what really it meant was that there's not going to be any external glorification for you. The glorification will happen internally when you live the truth. Your self-worth will go up, and there's going to be no external glorification because we are all one. There's no other party to glorify you, right? So thank you, Ratanjit ji, for explaining these important aspects of life, how we could live and lead a better quality of human life here. What should I say? Even I got an opportunity, thanks to Ratanjit ji, to be on the same radio show somewhere in September 2015. And I want to validate one point, that the topic that is selected is genuinely not discussed earlier. And I was part of that particular show. And that day we had a small discussion in the car. And the topic that we selected that day was how to connect with divine internet. And that topic still stayed with me. And we had a wonderful trio that day. So Ratanjit ji is an ocean of content. 30 years is not a small time. And he has offered this service unconditionally to mankind. His consistency, his understanding of the subject has been amazing. He truly is Mr. Stress-Free. He is truly a statesman of oneness. So I bow to him for his contribution to mankind. Thank you very much, Ratanjit ji, for doing so.
Thank you.
Ratanjit, we haven't heard
my-
from you.
Mm.
Why don't you thank you so much, Ron. Thank you for the kind and gracious words on our behalf. Thank you so much. But Ratanjit, why don't you say, everybody's talking here. What thoughts are in your head at this point?
An is an amazing person. He has done so much, and he follows the concept of oneness in everything he does, and he has passed it on to his son, and his wife Sana is equally embedded in this concept. So they do amazing public service, and they touch so many people's life. So I bow to him.
Right?
And maybe we will hear from some of the rest of his family too. We would welcome them to also share their thoughts with us. Matter of fact, maybe right now your hand just went back up. Does that mean that we have another? Hey, by the way, tell everybody where you guys are from, or where you live. And
Absolutely, yeah. I'll thank you so much, and I'll follow suit from my father, which is an impossible task, but I'll try my best. My name is Sahil Rupani, and I'm a university student based in Leeds, England. And firstly, congratulations to the both of you upon the completion of amazing 30 years. And this is a decade longer than my existence on this planet. So a big round of applause. And I learned of this dynamic duo, which is R&R, as Rakesh coined it, through my father. So all thanks to him that I'm exposed to this amazing content. And ever since I've tuned into the show, the wealth of experience and wisdom that we're exposed to as listeners is truly remarkable. You don't get to hear this kind of content on a daily basis. It's so unique, so fresh, and it cleanses your soul, really. And one of my favorite topics that I've heard on this radio show have been the ones on visualization, the importance of gratitude and being grateful for every breath you take, and the concept of happiness, real happiness. So these have been my favorite moments from the show. And just following up on what Rakesh said about R&R, Ratanjit and Ray, I think R&R for me is just like RR, Rolls-Royce, premium quality and long lasting. And I hope that this show continues just like Rolls-Royce does. So thank you so much.
Wow.
it's a wow. Thank you. Thank you for the kind, very, very kind comments from everybody so far. You're overwhelming us, I think, I was going to say a little bit, but I think a lot. Thank you. And R&R, I never really thought about that before, because R&R stands for rest and relaxation, right? The doctors tell you need a little R&R. So it's a whole new meaning now if people say they need R&R.
Let's hear from some other people.
Anybody else like to have a comment? We have a little more time before we go to the first break. Sadiq, please welcome and tell everybody where you're from and share your thoughts. We'd love to hear from you.
Ray and Vijay. So we live in the greater Atlanta area. Been here for 30 years in this area. So first of all, a big congratulations to both of you for the amazing show that and the topics you pick week after week. And I'll say this: I had the fortunate experience of spending about a day with Virji and his and auntie at their home in Columbus last year in May, and that's how I came across and met them. And I think that truly was a transformative experience for me, sitting with them across the dining table and talking. And that's how I got introduced to the show. And I look forward to it every week. The topics are so diverse and so meaningful with real impact to your life. And I actually am trying to get my kids to join. My son is in investment banking, so he's at Wharton right now. Very busy, but I'm saying, guys, you got to start listening, because this is 1 hour of every week that gives you, ways to look at yourself and the world, and and really make a difference to yourselves and to the society as well. So thank you again for the amazing, discussions you are hosting every week. And I truly look forward to it. And I look forward to the next 20 years. So we celebrate the 50th year anniversary of this. So thank you again.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Sudeep. Thank you, everybody here that has shared your thoughts with us already, your kind thoughts. Lots of love here today, which we are very, very appreciative for. We need to take one more little radio break here for 90 seconds, and that gives us a chance to interact with all of you, and hopefully a few more of you will want to join us when we come back for our final segment of the radio portion of today's 30th anniversary show. I'm Ray Samich, along with Ratanjit Sandhi, and a whole wonderful spectrum of guests from all around the world joining us here today for our special show. We'll be back in just a moment. All right. For a few of you that had joined in a little later here today, we appreciate you being with us, all of you, whether you were here from the beginning or those joined in later. But we'll have about 12 minutes left of on-air time. And if anybody else would like to say a few words, we hope that you will. You can just raise your hand visually if you're on camera, and I'll call on you. Uma, we'd love to have you come on, and anybody else who would like to, just let us know. We'll call on you, and please do feel free to share your thoughts or ask questions too if you have a question that you would like to ask. And then we'll stay over, as some of you haven't been with us before, so let you know when we stop the radio show at the top of the hour, then we continue to stay on, and we continue to interact with you any way that you would like to talk about and give us some thoughts for future shows as we kick off our 30th year together. This portion, all of this is all recorded, including the post show, and it is all then put onto YouTube on our Stress Free Living radio channel. So while the shows are an hour, thereabouts in length, those are always 1 hour and 20 minutes, 30 minutes, sometimes longer, for as long as people that are part of our Zoom audience are so inclined to join us. So you're captured on the YouTube channel. If you didn't know that, let that be a warning to you that anything you say as part of the post show is all captured there as part of the podcast. But today we got you on the radio. That's even better. All right. I am guessing this is the last ad. I monitor the station during the breaks. Yep, we're back. This is Stress Free Living, our special 30th anniversary kickoff show of Stress Free Living here all those years on WELW and WINT radio, and also, of course, streamed around the world for that same period of time. Ray Samich with you, along with my co-host, colleague, spiritual brother, source of my inspiration every day, Ratanjit Sandhi. Ratanjit, this is amazing, isn't it, to hear from so many wonderful people that have been a part of our program?
We have to be utterly grateful for all of them and their kind words and inspirations they have given us to continue the show.
Most definitely. And again, when we call on you, because a few of you have said you want to talk, we'd love to have you do that. But please do tell us your name and where you're from. Uma, let's go out with start with you.
Again, thank you so much for this opportunity to speak. First of all, as many of the people said, I hope and pray this our Socratic dialogue continues for many, 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 many more years to come, and that we are all able to learn and be educated on a different path, so that we are able to enlighten ourselves. That's something that I've been wanting to say. And I have known Bhai Saab and Dolly for 36 years now. So, there's a joke among the Sudarshan, and us and all of us. We would always talk about, we would say, as wise as Bhai Saab is, So is Dolly. And I have to say, she is the wind beneath his wings. So I have to give her credit for that. So I have to call upon them, both of them. They've been mentors for us, parent figures, a lot that I cannot say. And I am just, indeed, we both are, my husband and I are truly, truly grateful to them for being those giants. I call them giants because Newton in Principia Mathematica talks about standing on the shoulders of giants and looking ahead and looking at the whole world and learning from that. And for us, they have been the giants for us. Every step of the way, we look up to them, look upon them and say, hey, what would they do under such circumstances? So there is a big, my husband always says, you should wear some trinket in your hands around, which bracelet. It said, what would Bhai Sahab do? What would Dolly do? So we laugh about that so that, it's a reminder. And then I have to thank Bhai Sahab because he has, as the channel says, Discovery Channel. He has been instrumental in taking all of us, I would say, many of us, I stand corrected, in taking us through a path where no man has bothered to trudge before. I know it's a captain spoke, it's a Star Trek phrase. And we've gone through that discovery path. And I have to mention two things that have stayed with me among the many things that he has talked about, from truth to consciousness to subconsciousness. The key aspect that he talks about is oneness that has brought us together today. And 30 years, he has done this without looking at the fruit of what's going to happen. He has just continued to serve, which he keeps reminding us about. And I'm truly grateful for that, because sometimes, we forget that we are here to serve others. And that's what he has reminded me. And two examples, I ask my students, what did you learn? So two examples that amplify what he says constantly, reiterates I'm just going to remind this too, and I'm truly grateful to Bhai Sahab, the concept of oneness through the analogy of the bulb. He always says there is only one electrical grid, but the electricity passes in different ways to different bulbs that enlighten all over the world, that turn on at just the turn of a switch. But that electricity sits within us. And that bulb is in different shapes, that electricity, that light that passes through all these different shapes and figures and forms. That's the divine within us that connects us together. That has always stayed with me after even so many years. And the other thing that I practice every single day, that's why he's my guru, is I wake up in the morning and I think of him as I go and in front of the mirror, he says, your eyes, look at your eyes. And they speak to you. And that's where you see the divine within you. So these are lessons that will last me forever, that he has taught me. And I am truly grateful. And I must say, Ray, we are grateful to you too, because you have been instrumental in bringing us all together in so many ways. So thank you to both of you. And I pray to the divine forces that we continue to have this conversation. And I must also say, I'm a great, I listen to the radio show, and Bhai Sahab was once saying, can we move shift the timing? I said, no, because 9 o'clock is very good. I do my walking at that time. I listen to you. Sorry about that. But thank you so much. Ever grateful to both of you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. You are professor of English, but you are in truly professor of philosophy.
Thank you, Bhai Sahab. You're too kind.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for the beautiful words. Very, very kind words. Dr. Jagjit Singh, please, your hand is up. We'd love to hear from you.
Hello, can you hear me?
We can.
Yeah. Morning to everyone. My name is Dr. Jagjit Singh. I am from Vancouver. I was introduced to Ratanjit Singh ji about 3 years back. and somebody told me he might not agree to talk with you. And that was the conversation, but still I gave it a chance and called him. And from that day, I think I have never missed a show. And he spoke on our forum, and whatever he spoke, the only thing was that we felt out we were a religious show running on Sikhism. He spoke all the things without even quoting any hymn from Guru Granth Sahib. And we found that he was so clear about everything, all the philosophy and everything, that his show was phenomenal. And many people, especially then we started up with a learned Gyani. Gyani means the main person from a gurdwara, from a temple, and we started a Punjabi show for that. And though it lasted for 2 years, and we were doing it every week, and especially the change of oneness, instead of one God, we changed to the oneness. That was really, really, which has introduced to us, and we feel grateful to him. And still we feel I am in touch, and I love his works, and I've read about it. And I go wherever I go and give it a talk, I definitely try to put his ideas into that. Thanks, Ray, also. But I have been a regular listener, and I love your show. I try not to miss it unless I have some other. Thank you very much, and congratulations on your 30th.
Thank you,
Thank
thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the kind words and the loyalty of all of you, so many of you that have been with us. But nobody more loyal, I don't think, since we started doing the Zooms than Dr. Jagji. Thank you.
Brian,
we have time
would
probably.
like to hear from you.
One more. Yeah, we have time for one more, maybe two, one more.
Brian?
Hi, Brian Zaplitny. I'm in Brighton, Michigan. Ratanjit, you and I met many years ago, and I was invited to the show, and I'm grateful that you have invited me to be part of this. It's been very inspiring, and Ray and yourself have to be congratulated because you've made a difference in so many people's lives, and I am grateful for that, so thank you. And some of the words that I've heard today from everybody speaking is about conversation. And conversation is so important, and compromise and understanding and that goodness that is coming out. That's what I'm hearing in all the folks that have been speaking. They're thankful, they're grateful, and they're recognizing that kindness and making a difference. And if we all do that, and that's really the message that I've been hearing in all the shows. Let's look at ourselves. Let's bring it from within. We have that energy. We have that goodness. There's some very, very educated and intelligent people that have been speaking. And to be part of this, from my perspective, to be part of this, I'm very thankful for what you're doing. And when we have the conversations, when I've come and visited you, Ratanjit, I walk away with such a good feeling of understanding. And you're truly a teacher. And I think it's the highest compliment. We all have different educations and titles and so forth, but teacher is something that I'm recognizing in you that is a gift to all of us. So thank you, and thank you, Ray, for everything you've done and what you're continuing to do. And I'm thankful for that. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Ratanjit, we're down to the last seconds here, and I wanted you to have the last word, but Sana has asked to do something here at the end very quickly, and then we'll be off the air. So thank you, everybody, for being a part of this, and stick around, all of our Zoom guests. We want to continue to talk with you. Sana?
Yes, so this is a dedication, a small tribute to both of you. Ratanjit ji, there is an angel in all of us, And this is a small tribute for you. It's by a song by ABBA. I have a dream, a song to sing, to help me cope with anything. If you see the wonder of a fairy tale, you can take the future, even if you fail. I believe in angels, something good in everything I see. I believe in angels. When I know the time is right for me, I'll cross the stream. I have a dream. I have a dream. A song to sing, to help me cope with anything. Thank you so much. We are eternally grateful to both of you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Lovely. Thank you so much, Anna. Oh my goodness. All right, we are off the air. We so gratefully appreciate everybody who took the time to say something on the radio show. The rest of this is still going to be as part of the podcast on YouTube. So if you didn't speak already and you'd like to now, we still welcome and encourage your comments and thoughts. And if you already did say something and you want to say something else, you're welcome to do that as well. And Ratanjit, it's amazing because someone mentioned Dolly and she's so awesome, amazing, but she has never really been a part of the show on your end. She's listened to you, but she really hasn't participated. And my wife, Mary Jo, who also has been incredibly supportive of me and everything I've ever done, has never really been active in the show, but she listens. She's on the sidelines listening. And so she slipped me a note here she says, why isn't Ratanji talking today? Because she doesn't really want to, I mean, she does hear me and she's respectful of me, of course. We have a 46-year love relationship, but she really likes hearing you, Ratanjit. So before we leave today, we definitely need to hear more from you, or else she'll be disappointed for the whole week if we don't hear some more wisdom from you. But does anybody else have any thoughts that they would like to share?
Yes, hi, Ray. I just wanted to thank you first, Ray, for introducing Ratanjit Singh to us, to our business associates. Of course, Ray, I know you through our daily work. We work together and we're colleagues. And through that, you surprised us bringing Ratanjit to one of our events, which is a real estate event, and you're bringing Ratanjit Singh on stage. And I was like, wow, I didn't even know you had a connection to Ratanjit. And before you knew it, Ratanjit ended up just really filling up our lives with so much, teaching us that, you can do business in oneness, and how you combine both business and a spiritual way of living together, which was phenomenal. Also known for many Punjabis and Sikhs as a Sant Sapai. You could be a soldier and a saint at the same time. And the work that you guys have been doing for 30 years must be celebrated today, which is beautiful. And I look forward to another 30 or 60 more that we get to be blessed with. This is honestly it's a blessing for us. So we're excited that this will continue, and be it that lady that had asked Ratanjit Singh to continue back then, I think today is an affirmation that we're all saying, let's keep going, because every one of these shows teaches us something, and we're just so grateful for it. So R&R, be it the Rolls Royce or whatever it is, or Ray so much, thank you guys. Thank you, Ratanjit Singh. Let's keep this going. God bless.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Sandy. Thank you. Really appreciate all your kind words. Anybody else would like to share? We have definitely some people that haven't spoken. Kai, would you like to say something else? We need to have you unmute.
There we
There we
go.
go.
I just want to say one last thought after listening to all of these beautiful souls. I think I can say this on behalf of Baba Ratanjit, that the only way that this is going to make a difference is if we activate everything that he's been teaching us over these 30 years and in some way be that extension of the light through our own personal work and contribution. So I just wanted to encourage everybody to how he lives on through us is to activate the teachings in a very real way in our lives daily, but to actually fill the space in the universe the way that we're supposed to because of him. So let's all just do it.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Kai. And if I could add to that, especially with our young people, our young people are just so overwhelmed today by technology and by the billions and billions of dollars that are put into their head of what is supposed to make them happy and what their purpose is supposed to be and what they need, supposedly need to live their life. And they need this type of foundation. So I think that's really our purpose at this point, is to try to get the word across to the young people. And Ratanjit was the first one that ever told me, and I've told this one to so many people, that our personality is almost entirely formed by the time that we are 5 years of age. And to think of that, you know, that critical importance that we have to have on those children at those early stages of their life. You don't give up after 5 because we can still make an impression on them, but that real shaping is done by 5. So it's really our moral obligation as adults to teach our kids this. So thank you for bringing that to light, Kai. Kitty, you would like to share something? We'd love to hear from you.
Word. Ray, just interrupt. I would like to add to what Kay said, that all the people who are sitting here should spread the message to their groups and everywhere of oneness, so that that can take propagated quickly. So that is the commitment which everyone sitting here should be having, wherever they are, whatever forum they are, wherever they can do it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for adding that. Now it's your turn, Kitty. Share your thoughts, please.
It's actually Tanya. I'm watching with my mom. So,
okay.
we just wanted to say that we're so fortunate to and take for granted how much we get to talk to my uncle, who has just been a beacon of trust and comfort and wisdom for all our life, and now for my kids, his grandkids. So thank you all for everything you do to help spread the wisdom, the joy around, and we love it. But we do take it for granted, and we love him so much.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I love you.
Love you.
Thank you, Tanya. Thank you so much, Tanya. And if your mom wants to say something too, since it's her phone, she's welcome to join us too. Anybody else have a thought that they would like today to express? And it doesn't have to be as kind and as loving as your other thoughts.
From Dr. Mehta. Dr. Mehta?
Well, all I'm really is fascinated and speechless hearing everybody's comments and their emotional reactions to your teachings over the past 30 years. I'm relatively newbie, but I have known you for several years, and you have been an inspirational figure for me, and so is Dolly. My wife and I, we both adore you and Dolly for several years that we have known each other. But hearing all these comments really made me speechless. I had no idea that this was going on. So I'm delighted that I can join you now, and I'll do my best to continue to listen to your program. What I found in the short time I have joined that you are the perfect complement to each other. Ray is such a talented guy to take message from you and deliver to all the audience and the spectators craftfully. And his message goes across, or your message goes across through him, makes it very interesting and almost like captivating for the audience. So it really is a compliment to both of you for working together for 30 years. That's a commitment. And you have spread so much knowledge and comfort to so many people. And it was really interesting for me to see first time. So thank you. And my heartfelt congratulations to both of you for serving the community in the different parts of the country and US for the past 30 years. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. And especially thank you for reading my new book and giving me a feedback.
It was an absolute pleasure. I learned a lot, and I'm thankful to you for making me or giving me the opportunity to learn through your book. Does everybody know what that book is all about? You want to tell everybody about what is going to be?
Yeah, go ahead, please.
No, you tell us. It's your book.
No, you have read. This is coming from you would be better.
He has written a book entitled, basically says education in US. It's concentrated on how people educate themselves. So when he applies education, he means the knowledge people learn, not only in the formal settings of universities and colleges, but in real life, every day-to-day learning. And he goes through all the processes in detail and how people learn and what is being done in our through the book in our country and in other countries. It is just fascinating. And not only he dissected everything so beautifully, he has learned and he has read all the literature that is available and summarized it in a beautiful way. In the end, he made all the practical tips to educate us how we can take advantage of the knowledge that is there in the universe. Very collectively, very thoughtfully. And some of the ideas were a little bit more complex. So what he did is repeated those ideas through the rest of the chapters, made it more practical, and he summarized it again and again to make sure that the reader was able to capture the truth very in a simple language, in a practical way that they can apply that. I think it's a like 260 pages book, but it is just captivating. I just could not leave the book down. I slowed down a little bit with the complex thoughts, but after that, once you overcome that part, it just goes and flows beautifully. Is that pretty much summary I summarized, or did I miss everything?
Thank you.
Perfect.
Were you able to go through yet, or are you still going through it?
I'm still going through it, and you know, of course, I'm doing it from a little different perspective because while I am appreciating it for myself, I also, because it hasn't been published yet, I'm also looking at it trying to be from the perspective of the other readers and trying to see how they would interpret it, which is kind of how I try to fill the role here on the radio. Is not necessarily to ask what's just special to me, but try to think about the audience listening and ask a question that they might want. So I'm looking at it that way, and it's a little bit more complicated for me to do that. And not be one of the amazing loyal followers of Ratanjit, but to be a stranger hearing and reading the words for the first time and how they would interpret it. So I'm trying to add value to the book that way before it gets published.
Oh, that'll be perfect, actually. I found it fascinating book. So if you can give your input, it's even going to be perfect. I would love that.
I'll try not to make it worse.
No,
to make it
you
better.
can't. You're not capable of doing that.
Can we hear from Dr. Seiko? Are you still there?
I'm still here, Ratanjit. I'm enjoying this morning. When I left this morning my house, and I felt like I'm going to a temple. So I was looking for my handkerchief, put it on my head. That thought process was so profound. I want to congratulate you and Ray for 30 years of selfless service of very spiritualism, thoughtful. I cannot thank you enough. I know Ratanjit and Dolly ji for last 35 years. Ratanjit's been a great friend and he has been my spiritual mentor. I often visit Ratanjit whenever I need a spiritual refill. And I'll tell Ratanjit, I got to come here and I'm here just for my spiritual refill. I've been able to kind of adopt the concept of oneness in my daily practice when I feel with the different challenges of day-to-day life. I'm still not sure what are the limitations of oneness and or there are any, and maybe would like to see in the future discussion. I again want to thank you, Ratanjit. I am, by the way, for my rest of my friends, I'm from Canton, Ohio, and currently I'm sitting in my car in beautiful front yard of Ratanjit's residence, and I see so many nice birds and turkeys surrounding my car and walking by. So, and having this beautiful conversation from all of you had really made my day.
Wow.
Thank you again.
Come on in. My goodness. Dr. Seiko is a heart surgeon. And the first time I came to had the pleasure of meeting him when he operated on my father-in-law and performed the open heart surgery. And
oh my.
He's one of the kindest person I ever met. And he's, as a doctor, he makes the patient very comfortable and addresses all kinds of questions. And he's an example. And so is Dr. Mehta.
Actually, I worked with Dave, so that's how I know. He made me do that.
Both are
Thank you, Ratanjit. Thank you. You're so kind.
I know.
You're so kind.
Thank you.
I have a long way to go. So thank you.
Thank you.
And
I can't believe you're sitting in Ratanjit's driveway, though. You need to go in and say hello.
I will, definitely.
Dave, after that, you can come to my driveway.
I will. Believe me, I'm looking for the day and the time, and I will definitely. We'll connect.
Yeah. And Cecil Bhai, come on. We haven't heard from you. You are from Chicago.
You know who else Kitty did? I had a call for Kitty earlier and Tanya spoke, and Kitty said she wanted to say something.
Okay.
Kitty, go ahead.
Okay, all I want to say is we take Ratanjit, my brother-in-law, for granted, but every moment I spend with him is so precious. He is the most disciplined man. He lives by his habits. And he teaches us so much. I wish we could just learn from him and live our lives the way he lives. All I want to say is thank you to Dolly and thank you to him for being there for us all the time. Thank you, Bhai Sahib, and thank you, Ray, for putting all this together and giving us all this good talks every week. Sorry, I'm in California, so I'm a little lazy to get up. But when I'm in Cleveland, I listen to all your shows.
So in
Thank you, thank you,
California,
thank
they have
you.
to, she had to get up at 6 a.m. to be on our show.
5:30. Today I got up at 5:30.
Oh my goodness. Well, thank
Yeah.
you.
And Tanya, and Tanya.
Okay.
Thank you both.
But it was worth every moment. Thank you.
Wow, thank you, thank you.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Cecil from Chicago. So nice of listening to everybody, and everybody has been, so true in whatever they are saying. This association between Ratanjit ji and Ray has been a marvelous association. 30 years is not a small time. I was introduced to Ratanjit ji by Ali, and I went to Ohio from Chicago, stayed with them. The hospitality that was given to me, I'll never forget that. And even Dolly ji was so nice to take care of us and all our needs. This has been a great association, though we don't meet that often, but definitely I've been listening to your YouTube conversations. The statements that come in, very motivational to read on Facebook, on YouTube, and it has been a great experience for me. I pray God gives you the best of health, to both you and Ray, and to Dolly ji, so that more and more people benefit from what you have been doing all these years. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you so much for your kind words. All of you. So kind today.
Yeah.
And I want to, Darby, one of our regulars, and she was on our other link, and I found her there, and I sent her over to this one. So she missed the very opening of this one because she was faithfully tuning into our normal Zoom link. So Darby, if you have any thoughts you'd like to share, we know you were not with us the entire show, but you're welcome to say something if you'd like to.
Yeah, good morning, all, and thank you so much. I'm just enjoying listening to everyone and the just high, powerful thoughts and energy coming from the different ones. I look forward to continuing to listen and to grow. And thank you, Ray, and thank you, Ratanjit, and thank you, everyone, for your beautiful comments.
Thank you. Darby is one of the kindest person I know, and she has touched so many people's life, and she never takes credit for what she's doing. Thank you for being you.
Thank you. It's
Thank
a
you,
blessing.
Darby.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oneness.
Yes. Anybody else would like to say a thought before we sign off on our special program?
Harjinder Singh, please open up your mic and say something.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Good morning.
Morning.
Sir, I'm joining after a very long time, and actually, I always like such programs, but unfortunately, I'm not able to attend these programs because of some my job scheduling is not possible. But from the core of my heart, I'm saying that your programs are so enlightening, so charming, and so peace-giving that I can't express in words. So
you can go to our YouTube channel, and they are all there. You can listen at your leisure time.
Yes, sir. Definitely, I will do it, and I pray to the Almighty, or whatever you may call it. That superpowers, that truth, that's peoples like you who are contributing for the betterment of the humanity. Please be blessed and
Thank you.
be healthy and always kind to we peoples. You are taking out your times along with Mr. Ray and doing this great service for the humanity. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Arjinder is from Vancouver, Canada.
Yes, sir.
Well, thank you so much for your kind words and for joining us today.
Thank you, sir.
And
Welcome,
and if you're not subscribers, please, everybody, subscribe on the YouTube channel. Go out there, just do a search on YouTube for Stress-Free Living Radio. Stress-Free Living, there's other choices that come up, but Stress-Free Living Radio, if you get that, you'll find us and subscribe. And that way, if you miss a show, you'll get the notice when we post it and you can watch it. And also refer, we talked earlier here about kind of our responsibility to share this with others. And that would be a great way of doing it, because then people could listen to it on their phones or in their cars or wherever they're at and kind of get an idea of what this is all about. And maybe we can get them to understand oneness and service.
Definitely, sir. I will be doing in future. Definitely, sir. I will subscribe.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Ratanjit, any closing words, Ratanjit, from you today, since we haven't heard from you much?
Well, basically, if we pray together that we need to be connected to the divine power to give us the wisdom, because we basically are the conduit, and our human body is basically our housing, and our wisdom and all power which comes from the divine wisdom present within us. And you have to have the divine internet active to give us the wisdom and the power. So I keep my antennas up so that my wisdom comes into me. And so I do this show practically to listen to it, to understand the wisdom which comes as that moment. And I follow that wisdom more than what I teach others. And kindly send us your feedback and support this endeavor, and share this with other people so they can also have the same benefit. Thank you so much.
Yep, I think we'll let that be our final words here for this particular show. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here and inspiring us.